You want to come look? You don't want to look? It's fascinating to me. And basically all the areas are lit up.
That will be, yeah.
So the glucose in the PET, you know, the tracer, that's stolen by the cancerous cells, isn't it?
Yeah, gobbled up. So basically,
that was in tumor on my rib cage.
That's the one in the breast. That's the one in the breast. So here's breast. This is horrible.
Oh, it's fine. That's a great breast
image quality. Yeah. There's in the axilla, in the armpit there. And so this is the medical way to look at it. I think the one that would look better on the YouTube channel would be this view, hopefully.
Yeah,
so because a lay person looking at this could go, oh, okay. So this computer's so slow. I never look at them on this one. So basically, here's the ones in the armpit, the axilla, a whole gobbledygook of them.
Oh, interesting. I thought I had one on my neck too.
Well, you had one near your collarbone.
Yeah,
right up here.
Under your collarbone.
Yeah. And then the breast itself right there. And so that's the main thing. And then because you had the complete response, I'm assuming the last PET scan is probably just negative.
Exactly.
The brain is supposed to be, because it burns a lot of sugar. Down here, kidneys, you get rid of it by the urinary system. Yeah. So basically, those are the nodes in the armpit, and here they was in the breast there, right there. Yeah. As well.
So that was May 11, 2017. Great. Ooh.
I'm going to show you the same view.
Okay. Yeah, here's the one after surgery.
So it's...
Yeah.
So as we look in this area, up here in the armpit, there's nothing. And likewise in the breast, nothing. So, fantastic. Excellent.
Thank you, sir. This is me, and I'm cancer-free. I just wanted to show you keto works. Uh-oh, I forgot to drink the coffee. Okay, gotta set it for 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. Okay, that's set up. I think I'm gonna have some myself. In here, this is my homemade coffee bombs. I have coconut oil, butter, cocoa powder, only really high quality cocoa, cinnamon, and turmeric. I melted down 1 cup of butter, 1 cup of coconut oil in a little pan. Then I stirred into that a cup of unsweetened dark cocoa powder. I stirred in 1 tablespoon of cinnamon and 1 teaspoon of turmeric. And that's is the result. I put these back in the fridge. They don't stay very together at room temperature as much as I'd like. Plus it has butter in it, so I want to be careful, you know. So anyway, what I do is I take these and I get a teaspoon and I put, this is granulated, so I put about 1.5 teaspoons right there, and set it for 10 ounces strong, and we're ready to go. So while that percolates, I want to talk about something kind of serious. And what I'm going to do is talk to you about something extremely, extremely personal. And what's that, you ask? Well, it's funny you should ask. I like putting on makeup. I like dressing up. I like putting on jewelry. And I like looking nice for my husband. When I met my husband almost 11 years ago, he and I had some great times. But as soon as you get married, you get a little complacent. I'm from the South, so I love to cook. Southern and frugal, don't get me wrong. Beans and cornbread and fried chicken, mashed potatoes, cream gravy, homemade biscuits, apple pie, brownies, everything from scratch. That's the way I was raised. And I ballooned. I ballooned to like 352 pounds on my wedding day. Went to David's Bridal. They didn't have anything my size. Went to Lane Bryant. They did. Kinda. You see, I have big boobs. 44 double G. I had them. In June 2016, I was diagnosed, as was my son. Hold that thought. I'm sorry. That was my mama. You gotta answer the phone. You gotta call your mom when you get home. If you don't, she's gonna worry. Think you've been sodomized by a deer or something. You never know. Anyway. Diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. A1C was 9.1. Family doctor, been going to for years. Stormed into the room. He was pissed. And he told me that both I and my son Connor have type 2 diabetes and we need to get on metformin right away. No choice whatsoever. You had better get on this or you're going to lose your sight. You're going to face possible amputation, coronary artery disease, so forth and so on. So I said, I'll think about it. I'll think about it. And I went home. He told me that I need to come back the next day for more labs and to find out just how many hundreds of units of insulin that Connor and I would have to take. I found a TED Talk by Dr. Sarah Hallberg. Here, I moved around a little bit. Sorry. And she taught me how to reverse type 2 diabetes. And I'm going to tell you about it as we go along. But let's put it this way. I followed her directions completely. You want to know now? You don't want to wait? No problem. This is what I want you to do. And keep in mind, I am not a doctor. I am not a nurse. I have some or very, very limited medical background, but more in transcription, both medical and psychiatric. And my mom was a surgical RN, worked at several different hospitals between here and Texas, here being Washington. And so she knows a lot about a lot of things that she conveyed to me. So just a little bit of backup. My mom is insulin-dependent diabetic. My father was diagnosed with diabetes, I think around the 25th year that they were married. They were married 33 years. And he developed cancer in his esophagus that spread to his lymph nodes, metastasized. And when it was diagnosed, it was stage 4. Terminal. We were sitting at a restaurant in Henderson, Texas, as a matter of fact, and he had to excuse himself, go to the bathroom, and from that day forward wasn't able to keep anything down. So, I'm kind of digressing, but this is what you need to do. I want you to go to your pantry, open up your pantry. I want you to look at everything in there, from your tomato sauce to your peanut butter to your Crisco, doesn't matter. And anything that has carbohydrates in it, wheat, rice, grains of any kind, potatoes, pasta, semolina, corn, legumes, beans, peas, carrots, anything like that. Put it in a big box. Go to Walmart, call them ahead of time and ask for a couple banana boxes, or however many you think you'll need. Orange boxes, apple boxes work just fine. And you need to go and donate all that food to your local food bank, your gospel mission for the homeless. Oh, gosh, they sure can use it. If you have any spare clothes or old clothes you're not going to wear or you haven't worn for years, put it in a bag and donate that too. You see, Dr. Sarah Hallberg, the TED Talk I mentioned, it was entitled How to Reverse Type 2 Diabetes. And it worked. I ate fat. I made fat for my family. Did I give them a stick of butter? Say, here, gnaw on this? No. I made hams and turkeys and meatloaves and you name it, I made it, pretty much. Roast lamb, duck, chicken, only dark meat chicken. With whole hens, I put butter under the skin. Oh my gosh. Butter under the skin, salt and pepper on the inside, a little bit of Lowry's and pepper on the outside. Baked 350 degrees for an hour for a small hen. For Cornish game hens, 425 for about 45 minutes. It really all depends. It depends on the weight. But all those drippings, oh my gosh, so good. I put them in my bone broths. I'll teach you how to do that. I put them in my pans when I saute a stir fry for lunch. I make my own fat bombs, as you know. And once you adapt to having 4 or 5 eggs and brown butter, nice golden nutty, and some bacon, a couple slices of tomato for the acid to cut the fat, a couple strawberries, big old cup of coffee. This is a part of my daily regimen. I have this cup of basically fat and coffee. There's cream, there's butter, there's coconut oil, and of course the spices, because I like a kind of a keto mocha kind of thing, like a Mexican mocha my father used to love. And I just enjoy this. It's warm, it's satiating, And I don't eat again until possibly maybe tomorrow around noon. I know that sounds odd, but I do. I eat maybe once a day. It's called OMAD, 1 meal a day. And this helps me. So, let me get back to the reason I called you here. Both of us, A1C's 9.1. I think 9.0 for Connor. 4 months of strict keto eating. Berries, greens, salt pork, broccoli with homemade cheese sauce, maybe the cream. Oh gosh, really, really good food. Big prime rib roasts. I'll show you how, don't worry. And 4 months, 40 pounds later, both of our A1Cs around 5.0, 5.1. Completely, utterly normal. Yep. I was a lot more active with my husband. And we had a lot more fun. And my skin was softer, more pliable. And we enjoyed some positions. And then I felt a painful lump in my right breast. And it was around 2 inches long. It was hard, it was unmoving, and it hurt. Called doctor, same doctor. Come on in, it's probably nothing. Probably just a fluid-filled cyst. I'll go ahead and aspirate it, no big deal. I'll numb the area. It's probably just gonna go away on its own. And it was solid. So he said, okay, we can do this, X, Y, Z. You can go here for this test. You can get this, that, or we can do a needle core biopsy and just get it done over with. Find out. Yeah. So found the lump on Sunday, called Monday morning, was able to get in that day, biopsy, needle core biopsy that afternoon, found out the next morning, endoductal carcinoma. It was a call from the lab to my doctor, and he immediately called me. You need to get on the horn. Get on this. It's aggressive and malignant. You see, that evening before, the words needle core biopsy, I don't want you to think that that's a walk in the park. If you ever hear those words, 1, God help you. 2, ask for a tab of Xanax or whatever it is that you need to calm you, because you're going to need it. It hurt. Yes, he got the lidocaine. Again, I have had 44 double G breasts. Thick. Where he needed to go, that lidocaine didn't reach. And I was so glad. My husband has been with me every step of the way. And so, let me fast forward. Got on the horn, called insurance company. Okay, this is what I got. I need some doctors in this area who specialize in this. Can you tell me where? Oh, we have this doctor, this doctor, this doctor. Wow, you live out in the boonies. Anyone around you is about an hour away. I don't care. I just need to know who is the best. And so, give him 5 or 6 names. I looked him up online, and I found one in particular that ran his own clinic. Started it, a breast cancer program. And I watched some online videos that the hospital had, I guess PR had put out there. And I got to know him before he ever even met me. And I liked his bedside manner. Nice, cool, calm. Not reassuring, but relaxing. I don't want someone who's going to blow smoke up my butt. I want to know what I'm facing. But what you need to understand, sisters and brothers, because this happens to men too, be your own advocate. Do your own research. Do not expect to be spoon-fed. or have your hand held. Take someone with you to every appointment you can, especially at the beginning. Take note paper with you. Take notes. If you can, take a recording device. Ask if you can record the session, because trust me, you're not going to remember most of what's said. It's a lot of stuff at one time to take in. And then he'd say at the very end, just before he's ready to go talk to someone else who has the same thing going on in their life, any questions? And you're like, during the headlights, you don't know what to ask. Write them down as they occur to you. This is what happened. Okay. June 17th, found the lump. June 18th, biopsy found out what it is. Call the doctor, went in. Okay, let's do a PET scan. Positron emission tomography, otherwise known as keto diet for 3 days beforehand. Pretty easy. No carbs. Meat, fat, cruciferous vegetables, berries, cream, coffee, that kind of stuff. 3 days. Then you go in, sit in a chair. They hook you up to an IV. They take out some blood. They combine it with a radioactive tracer and a bolus of glucose, sugar. And then they inject that. Then they have you take a nap in the dark for about 45 minutes to an hour. And you wake up and you're kind of groggy, sleepy, because the sugar. You haven't had it for 72 hours. And you go and you lay down there in a little bed and you hold real still, real still. And have your hands over your head, and you're just laying there. Get nice, relaxed. Nothing you can do, just breathe. About half an hour later, told her, okay, you're done. Get up and go. I met with my radiation oncologist about 3 days after I had met with my main oncologist. Let me just put it this way. Dr. Poison, Dr. Cut, and Dr. Byrne. I met with Dr. Poison and Dr. Byrne first, then Dr. Cut. Dr. Cut was awesome. Great bedside manner. So I'll get to him. All right. Met with Dr. Byrne. She said, oh, look. Here. Oh, ew, okay. We have this, and this going on. I'm going to have you go see, your main oncologist and Dr. Poison, and we need to go ahead and get you started on some chemotherapy. Okay. Next day, come back. Met with him again, and okay, you have what we thought was stage 4 cancer. And my world came to a shuddering halt. And he said, but according to the PET scan, it's stage 3, class C. It has spread or metastasized to your lymph nodes, your right axillary area. There's a couple under your clavicle, subclavian, and we need to go get those shrunk. And you also have 2 tumors in your breast. One on your rib cage, just below your right breast, and then you have another one at the 7 o'clock position that's about half this size. And because it's HER2 positive, it's aggressive, and we recommend a bilateral mastectomy. So I started chemo almost immediately. I met with Dr. Cut about maybe 3 days later, and he said, okay, let's get you in. We got to get you in chemo right away. And I'm really, really glad to be signing off on curative treatment instead of palliative care to keep you comfortable until you pass. And go in for my port placement, and no big deal. came out of it just fine, except I was in for a little longer than expected, but it wasn't a big deal. I went in for my chemotherapy, the first round of 6. I went in for about 6 hours straight, maybe 7. And the effect was immediate. The feelings, the poison, the nausea. I was also told that because my white cell count was so low, that they need to give me Neulasta injections, which boost white cell numbers. If you ever hear the words, you need Neulasta injection, the first thing you reach for is an antihistamine, an over-the-counter little pink pill antihistamine, because the Neulasta injection will make you feel that anywhere you have bone, your marrow is boiling its way out of your body. And it's an indescribable pain. I've tried to describe it to a couple of ladies once. If you've had children, naturally, and you felt your bones and your pelvis separate, at the same time, someone's replaced your marrow with fire. That same agonizing pain. It's not something you can crawl away from. You can't deal with it. You can't deny it. You can't beg. You can't, nothing. And I didn't know until I mentioned how much I hurt. In passing, he said, "Oh, it caused a histamine response. Just take an antihistamine." I had no idea. I just found out in passing. Okay, great, thank you. And then I get on Facebook. You know, I join a HER2 positive group, and I look at posts, and there's something else you want to do when you go in for chemotherapy. You want to ask for lidocaine cream, a topical lidocaine cream. And the next week when I met with my Dr. Poison, he said, "Sure, here's your script. No problem. Here you go." And what you do is right before, about an hour before you have your infusion at the chemotherapy lab, you put a dollop on there, and then you put on a Band-Aid, and it has to have either at least 45 minutes to an hour. It'll blanch the skin, and you won't feel the injection or the initial injection, and you won't feel the access of the thick needle. The vomiting is pretty immediate. I was on paclitaxel, Herceptin, and pertuzumab. Paclitaxel, and I found this out afterward, turns you lactose intolerant immediately. No butter, no cream, no cheese, nothing dairy whatsoever. Not in any capacity. If you do make the mistake of forgetting both your rear and your GI tract will let you know. You better keep a bucket handy, and it will probably be the most nauseating experience of your life. And then, after the second chemotherapy treatment, you go through something called concrete poop. And I couldn't keep anything down. I was too nauseated. And when you're too nauseated, you don't drink water. You don't drink bone broth. You don't drink coffee. You don't drink anything. You just kind of float and kind of wishing that everything would stop. Hurting and aching so you could sleep. And sleep is a foregone conclusion. About a week after your second treatment, you start to lose your hair. because the chemotherapy, the poison, it attacks all fast-growing cells, from your hair follicles to the lining of your stomach. And you lose your eyebrows, and you lose hair in your head, and you lose your eyelashes and your pubic hair, and it's hard to still feel like a woman. Anyway, you kind of gotta give up. And then there's a lovely group that you can enroll in that tells you, one, set an appointment for the look better, feel great, along those lines, of a workshop that they give you a wig for free. This is a free wig, and I love it. I did, especially during winter when it was kind of cold. But I stopped feeling pretty, and I didn't wear makeup anymore, and I couldn't eat anything, and I didn't know what to eat, and I was the cooker for my family. I was the chef, the chefy, and but I had, thanks be to God, taught my children the basics: bacon, eggs, and came in handy. They fed themselves and my beautiful husband when I couldn't stand. When I would be upstairs and I hadn't gone to the bathroom in 3 days. And when you haven't gone to the bathroom in 3 days and you haven't drunk anything, because you just can't, things back up, things get hard, and you have something called an anal fissure because you've been trying to get that out. You feel back there and it feels like you have an opening of about this big, and you have something behind it about this big. I mean, you see my problem? Yeah, that was the problem. So, if only. So, anyway, I go back to keto. I do. I go back to keto. I go back to coconut oil, no butter, obviously, and bacon drippings and eggs, and I force myself to eat. I'm telling you, coconut oil, it makes things smooth and easy to go. What I will also say here is that, yes, I took matters in my own hands. Thank God for Kentucky jelly, if you get my meaning. And latex gloves. And something to bite on. A belt, something that will, when you're laying on the floor and you're crying your eyes out and you're taking care of business yourself and there's blood on the floor and that's over. But I don't want that to happen to you. So listen up. Keto. Keto coffee. Yum. Yum, 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 yum. The cinnamon. Cinnamon and the cocoa. Yum. Anyway, that's pretty much my dinner. So, all of a sudden, my white sauce shot up. I'm eating protein, I'm eating fat, a little bit of berries with whipped cream once in a while. Not much, a little bit. And I start feeling better. And my weight loss slows. I'm able to actually keep something down without puking it up everywhere. And I just keep on going. Keto. And shrimp, cold boiled shrimp with cocktail sauce. Just a little bit of the Heinz reduced sugar ketchup. I didn't have the strength to make my own. Really, really hot horseradish spice. I really wanted something spicy when I couldn't taste anything. And everything would taste bland. I couldn't taste salt anymore. And it tastes like it was both prepared and served in a dirty cat food can. And keto saved me. So, I had my appetite, got it back, just in time to go see Dr. Cut. And had my bilateral mastectomy on November 17th. And what once was 44G is now what made me a woman is gone. Not really. When we got the pathology report back the next morning after my bilateral mastectomy and I had the sentinel node dissection, I got a joyous call from my doctor. He said, out of the 20 or so lymph nodes that we dissected and sent off to pathology, they all came back as scar tissue. Your cancer's dead. It's gone. Congratulations. Now, after that happened, about a week or so later, I noticed on my left side. Oh, and I had the skin saving procedure, by the way, just FYI. I'm going to take this off. It's kind of rather superfluous to have a large bra on and no need. Anyway, my point is that I developed a seroma. A seroma is an area of tissue during surgery that did not receive continuous blood flow, continuous, nutrition. I'll screw this. Oops. Anyway, now, where was I before I so rudely interrupted? See? Just some skin. I look like empty wallets. Anyway, left-hand side, seroma about that long, about that wide, and probably about that deep. I could have smuggled a small navel orange into the clinic after the surgery. And basically, it happens a lot, very frequently. No big deal. He debrided that area, meaning he removed that area of dying or dead skin. And he said, okay, just come back in a week and we'll take another look. He packed it full of material. He said, keep it wet. He gave me some saline to keep the packing nice and moist. You want to make sure that stays nice and moist. And then the packing on the outside, keep that dry. And go from there. Change it as often as you feel necessary. You change that. A lot. Especially if you're sedentary or you're trying to rest from recovery. That's what I was doing. I was dizzy just standing up. So I would change it at least 3 times a day. Gotta be careful with the packing. Don't want to get water directly in there, but at the same time you want to flush. And what I did was I took a syringe that he'd given me and I irrigated the area with saline. And then I put that stuff in there, the packing. And then I put the packing on top and the wound care stuff. So hopefully that never happens to you. But if it does, stay keto. Meats, cheese, if you can. Stay away from sugar. 1 week after I had that area debrided, had that thing taken off, I was told to go across the way from the hospital to the wound care clinic. They have the wound care and the hyperbaric chamber and speed healing and what have you. And I walk in and I meet with an RN who takes a look at my wound and he's like, how old, when did you have your surgery? Oh, just a couple weeks ago. Hang on. And he leaves and he gets the PA. PA comes in. When did you have your, we have you signed up for a wound vac. A wound vac is a device they attach to someone whose wound isn't healing well, and it vacuums, keeps out oxygen, it adheres to the skin, and basically is to speed healing, a tiny hyperbaric chamber kind of thing. Anyway, look online, you'll find out. And we have you scheduled for having one of these installed. I see great granulation. It's pink, it's free of infection. You look great, and it's closed a lot. It's healed a lot. You've been eating a lot of protein, haven't you? My husband was with me at that visit. He can corroborate this. We told him about the keto diet, and they had never heard about it. No one had. And at the end of it, they're kind of looking around. Wow, you know, obviously space aliens are telling me about this. And I looked at Dennis, the wound care director. How many of your clients are diabetic? 99%. No one is teaching these diabetic patients that if they stop eating sugar and carbohydrates and convenience foods, they don't have to have their limbs amputated, that their wounds will heal, and they can walk, skip, run out of that clinic like I did. I contacted the dietitian at the hospital. You see, the morning after my mastectomy, double mastectomy, and by the way, I guess if you don't have any knowledge of pain meds, you don't know what you're allergic to. Apparently, I'm allergic to Percocet. No, Dilaudid. I'm allergic to Dilaudid. So what the RN would do, immediately after surgery, she would push Dilaudid and then anti-nausea med. And I would vomit all over myself until she realized after the 6th time, oh, anti-nausea med first, then painkiller. Who knew? But anyway, that's how it went. I healed. Completely. 2 months. 60 days. A wound that I could have smuggled a navel orange. Here. See this? Listen to this. This. I probably could have smuggled this entire thing in my chest. 2 months later, completely healed over. And I have the pictures to prove it. And the nurses were just absolutely amazed. I contacted the dietitian, like I said, at the hospital. I said the morning after my surgery, I was given a tray, toast, jelly, oatmeal, ice cream pudding. I want to say Jell-O. I forgot what it was. Sugar, 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 carb, carb, sugar, carb, sugar. No eggs, no bacon, no butter. Oh, and cocoa. Cocoa. I was given a cup of cocoa. And needless to say, I said no, thank you. And I asked if I could order something from the cafeteria. I don't think they're serving right now. I don't care. I'm hungry. It took them 3 hours to bring a chef salad. By that time, I was getting dressed and leaving. I was starving. Contacted the main dietitian, there's 3 for the hospital, and she said, well, I'm sorry, I can't really go. I mean, you're a zealot about this ketogenic diet thing. Never heard of it. No, YouTube videos aren't going to help me. Your testimonial, while is lovely, that's not going to help at all. I'm sure there are doctors down in Australia. I'm sure that they're doing a great job, but I'm sorry, I need actual documentation. So I went to PMC, that's Paul Michael Charlie, on Google, and United States Medical Library, where doctors, clinicians, GPs, dietitians, researchers publish their medical research. One in particular, Dr. Thomas Seyfried, Seyfried. He has determined through years of research. By the way, he is a professor of biology and genetics at Boston College. Please look him up. Cancer is a metabolic disease. He has determined through research that it starts in our mitochondria. It's not genetic. Our mitochondria, if we eat enough sugar over a long enough period of time, enough glucose, our body is unable to process it correctly. And our mitochondria inside our cells become compromised. And they mutate. And then those cells mutate. And then those cells copy and copy and copy. And there's your cancerous tumor. Sometimes benign, sometimes not. So, right now, I'm looking at getting the DIEP, Deep Inferior Epigastric Perforator. That's where basically they're going to take my tummy and they're going to make boobies out of it, my own flesh. Instead of, hard silicone or saline implants or anything, so I need a chin rest. No, I'm going to be using my own flesh. That way I can have MRIs, I can have, testing later on if I need to, and it won't compromise the material. It'll be my own flesh. And I'm going to stay keto for the rest of my life. I'm going to have some pitfalls. I'm going to be tempted at times, but 99% of the time I'm going to stay keto. And I need to lose this weight. So what I am going to be doing is that I'm going to show you how I did it. My cancer is gone. I am cancer free. According to my last PET, which I'll show you. And then it's gone. And I'm going to show you how. And if you just make what I make, it's nothing special. Just common sense kind of stuff and frugality. I can eat expensive and I can eat frugal. I kind of like frugal. Kind of tastes better sometimes. But sometimes you get sick of your own cooking. But anyway, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to get my husband some dinner and go relax with him. I'm not hungry. This keto coffee, that tastes good. Keto on. Good night. Are you gonna pose? No. Now look. Do I look better now that I dyed my hair, or do I look like Bozo the Clown?
No, you look better.
You sure?
You look way better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, stop that. Now look right there.
There.